Hello, I'm H Trader Josh, and today I'll be bringing you my team builder for something that's not IACL related, really. But this time it's going to be a league that I was in season two, and I actually won season two. So I decided to stay for season three, and right now, and the league is known as the SBL, and we just finished our draft. So I'm just going to do a draft analysis really quick. That was a pretty awkward 30 seconds. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, let's just go on with the draft, and I don't exactly remember what order I drafted in because in this league you can start drafting from whatever tier you want. So I'm pretty sure I made some of my UU picks before I completed my OU picks, but I don't remember what order they were. So I'm just gonna go from OU to NU since that's the way the draft works. So anyways, first Pokemon I drafted was Manaphy. I was the second pick in the draft, so I knew I had to get something that was good, something that could be versatile, something that could be great, something that you can make a team out of no matter what. So I decided to make that Pokemon Manaphy. Manaphy I've used before. It's a great Pokemon, and the GBA and the UCL. Shout out to Joey Pokemon has they've incorporated it to perfection. It's absolutely it's great. There's nothing it can't do, really. It can be a pivot with U-turn. It can just be the standard tail glow set, tail glow 3 attacks, or tail glow sub 2 attacks. It can be calm mind. It can be defensive, especially defensive. I mean, there's not much to say about Manaphy besides the fact that it's absolutely great. And we can just go over with the coverage that it gets. Like it gets ancient power, it gets blizzard, but Ice Beam gets the job done as well. It gets energy ball, gets grass knot, gets knockoff, gets so it can become like a utility Pokemon. It gets Psychic, it gets Rain Dance, Rest with Hydration, Signal Beam. It gets just also Surfer Scald with Tail Glow, or you can run Physical with Waterfall for some reason. You can run Acid Armor. I think this thing gets Amnesia as well. I might be wrong though. It gets Balance, which is pretty cool. It's you can run like an Endure Custap Berry set just with like I don't know. I have no idea what that would ever be good for. It gets natural gifts. I can run like some cool natural gift set and blow something back, even though it's a physical move. But it could work. And anyways, now let me move on to my second OU Pokemon, and that's Amoonguss. And during the draft, I thought it was still RU because I'm bad. So I picked it, and then they're like, "Oh, that's your OU pick." I'm like, "Oh, well, that sucks." But yeah, this was later on in the draft, so I thought it was my RU pick. I still had an open slot, but yeah, Amoonguss. Amoonguss is a great Pokemon, even though it does share a common weakness with fire, ice, and well, fire and ice is like the most common weaknesses because it's a common hidden power, especially in the counter tune format. But it has a great HP stat. Base 114 HP is absolutely great. And with the base 80 special defense and base 70 defense to rock that HP stat, it makes it extremely bulky. And you can run a mixed defensive set or just a max defense, max special defense stat. Losing my words. The max special defense stat or the max defense stat with max HP, and you pretty much become unkillable to most moves in the meta unless you're like super weak, unless you're weak to that move and it's powerful, such as Fire Blast, Psychic, etc. But let me go over this thing really quick. And this Pokemon is good for a few reasons. One being that it gets Spore. Very, very few Pokemon get Spore naturally. The other Pokemon being Breloom, I believe, and maybe another one, but I think it might only be Breloom and Amoonguss. Besides Smeargle. Smeargle doesn't get it naturally, though. So, yeah, that's pretty cool to know. Spore, 100% accuracy, and it's going to hit everything unless it's a grass type or if it has safety goggles or overcoat. And not to mention that it also gets clear smog, so you can't necessarily sit up against it unless you are behind the sub, because I don't think clear smog affects you if you're behind the sub, but haze will. But I don't think this thing gets haze, so yeah. But it also you could also run the stun spore if you want to just paralyze. Not to mention that it has pretty good offensive stats with I think 85 on both. Yeah, base 85 special attack and base 85 attack. So foul play will do a good amount of damage to something, especially if it has a good attack stat. And Stab, Sludge Bomb, and Stab Giga Drain will be doing a good amount of damage to almost anything, really, unless it resists. So yeah, I'm happy to get Amoonguss. It's a great Pokemon. I think I can not much bad things I can say about Amoonguss besides the fact that it's slow. But most rolls are pretty slow. But the fact that it also gets Regenerator and Synthesis, it makes this thing extremely reliable. Extremely reliable. So I was extremely happy to get this Pokemon. I really was. And not to mention that it does work together with Manaphy. It doesn't, have a psychic. They don't both resist psychic, but Manaphy can easily take the ice the ice attacks and the fire attacks. So yeah, I was happy with these two. Anyways, my last OU pick was going to be Garchomp. Garchomp is definitely one of the best OU Pokemon in the metagame, just because it can be really so versatile. Its worst stat is base 80, and that's special attack, which is still useful. So I just said useful. No, yeah, the most useful stat. The most useless one being 80 base special attack, and that's not even bad. Base 108 HP, base 130 attack, 95 defense, 85 special defense. With that HP stat, it just makes it incredible, really. So what can I say about Garchomp? Like I said, you can run special with Draco Meteor, so that's pretty cool. And not to mention, it's a great stealth rocker. It can be a great physical wall, and it could just punish anybody that touches it. Not to mention, it gets Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Swords Dance. You could run Home Claws if you really want to, even though Swords Dance is definitely better in almost every situation. Unless you want to boost your accuracy, but, you lose power. Anyways, it gets Fire Blast and Fire Fang and Flamethrower to deal with steel types such as Fortress or Durant, but no one drafted Durant. It gets Iron Head, it gets Poison Jab. So Iron Head's probably better for the flinch chance. Anyways, it gets Roar, so you don't even have to worry about Dragon Tail hitting if you really don't want to. It gets Rock Slide, it gets Stone Edge, it gets Surf. That's great. Surf is cool. Not to mention it gets Stealth Rock type. It's Toxic. It can run Bulldoze, but Bulldoze that's not good. But this thing is extremely, extremely good, and having a dragon is good, especially with base 102 speed. That's a great speed tier considering that you outspeed the Pixies by 2 points. Not to mention you outspeed other base 100s as well. So I was definitely happy to get this Pokemon. Anyways, now down to the UU tier, and my UU pick was going to be Sylveon, which is great because who knows how much longer Sylveon is going to be in the UU tier. Let's be honest, it's too broken. But Sylveon is great for one reason and one reason only, and well, not one reason, but Pixelate being a huge reason, because without any special attack investment, Hyper Voice just hits like a truck. It's just great. It's great. Not to mention that it makes a great cleric with a pretty good HP stat and pretty subpar defense, but it has 130 base special defense, so uninvested, this thing is still a great special wall, and you can just run the max defense, max HP stat with like 4 special defense, and you'll be good to go. Really, this thing just eats hits. Like even super effective moves, it eats it pretty well. Depending on what's hitting it though. Like if it's like a Gengar or a Toxicroak, then that's a different story. But this thing is great because it could be a cleric. It could run Wish Baton Pass, Wish Protect, Calm Mind. It could be Specs offensive, and it can also be Curse Physical, which is not a bad idea, but it's also a pretty bad idea. So forget I said that. But Sylveon, it's great. I love Sylveon. I've never had the opportunity to use Sylveon, so I've used Underground before, and that was pretty good as well. But I'm happy to try to use Sylveon because having a fairy is just great. Like there's nothing bad about having a fairy, unless it's like the Dene, then that's bad. But anyways, on to my second UU pick, and that is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is great because it's impossible to prep for. Really, this thing gets amazing stab. And not to mention base 130 attack with base 80 speed, which is pretty usable, really. You are 20 points. That's 20 points below base 100, which is pretty average, I guess. But you can easily run Choice Scarf. You can also just run Life Orb with Ice Shard for priority, and that still hits like a truck on almost anything. Not to mention this thing gets Stab Earthquake, Stab Icicle Crash. It gets Knockoff. It gets Freeze Dry if you want to deal with Pokemon such as Rotom, but it still won't do a lot. This thing gets it also gets Rock Slide, it gets Stealth Rock, it gets Endeavor, so if you want to run the Sash Lead, that's pretty good as well. Like this Pokemon, it doesn't run too many different sets most of the time, but that's because it's just great at doing what it does. It's kind of like a Mega Pinsir. You either run offensive, or you can also run, just a bulkier type of Mamoswine, or just a Stuff Rock lead. But this thing is great. I loved it ever since it dropped down to UU. I always have it in my UU teams, and it always puts in work. It it's just really good. It deals with so many threats, and really, it's just every time it hits the field, sometimes it gets a kill. Like sometimes when it hits the field, it'll always get a kill. Other times it won't, but it's still a great Pokemon to have. I love Mamoswine. Like I love it to death. One of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, next to Turtwig, of course. So yeah, that's basically all I can say about Mamoswine. Now, my last U pick is Cobalion, which is my favorite of the trio. My favorite of the trio for Unova. And well, not including the Wetter trio, but you know what I mean. I think it's called like the Justice, the Swords of Justice, I think, which is like something straight out of Marvel. But anyways, Cobalion. What can I say about Cobalion? Well, besides the fact that it has base 72 special defense, it's pretty good. Base 129 base defense is just monstrous. I mean, absolutely monstrous. Like this thing will eat super effective physical hits reasonably well with the right investment. But not to mention, yeah, base 108 speed, so that almost puts you up to the 110 tier, but pretty high above base 100. So definitely good. It's steel fighting, which is a great offensive typing, because not a lot of Pokemon switch into those two stabs really. The only Pokemon that really do are probably bulky waters, but besides that, it's really really good. This thing gets access to Calm Mind, Swords Dance. It can run Stealth Rock, Volt Switch. Speaking of Volt Switch, it can also be a pivot, and it can be defensive. You can run offensive with Swords Dance. You can give it a Life Orb without any setup and just make it hit like a truck. This is just a great Pokemon. Like I can't gloat about Cobalion more than it is. Like besides the fact that it has a really measly um, special defense stat, it's good. And at base 91 HP with the base 129 defense is just monstrous. Like max HP, max defense, if you really want to, is good, especially since it has such a high HP stat. It may even be higher than some of the offensive Pokemon on your opponent's team, and you'll still be a wall. So that's something that Cobalion can do that not a lot of Pokemon can. The only other Pokemon that really can is probably Uxie with the base 95 speed. So I'm definitely happy to get Cobalion, really. Anyways, let me go on to my RU and UU picks, my last six. Let's go over Electros first. Electros because I needed something that could have stab Volt Switch. I already have Volt Switch on my Cobalion, but if I didn't bring Cobalion, I wanted to have something else that can use Volt Switch. And that Pokemon is going to be Electros. Electros being great because it has a great HP stat, great defensive stats, not to mention that it has base 115 attack and base 105 special attack. Meaning that Volt Switches are going to hit like a truck, and if I want to run offensive with like Wild Charge, that will hit like a truck too. Like if I just want to run max attack with just Volt Switch on there for initiative, that would be pretty interesting. And not to mention the thing gets knockoff, so that already makes it a great Pokemon as it is. And it also gets Giga Drain, it gets Coil, it gets Dragon Claw and Dragon Pulse and Dragon Tail. Oh my gosh, what a mouthful. It gets Acid Spray, so it becomes a wall breaker, really. Well, it just forces switches, basically. It gets Drain Punch, so you can get HP back. You can use Fire Punch and Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, Giga Drain, Grass Knot. Not to mention, you also get Home Claws. That's another form of setup that you can use. It gets Super Fang, so you can just do half to like a Cresselia or something. It also gets Rock Slide. Rock Slide, that's really, really cool. I actually didn't know that until I checked. Like it also gets the magical move called Thunder Wave, which is good for my team. Especially, well, you'll see later on how it's great for my team because my team isn't the fastest team in the world. It also gets, utility toxic. It gets super power. And it gets U-turn and Volt Switch, so you don't even have to rely on Volt Switch. You can run full physical with U-turn, which is, I'm not gonna lie, pretty great because there's no immunity to U-turn, but there is immunity to Volt Switch. So something to note right there. Anyways, that's Electros. Like it's a great Pokemon. There's not much I can say, like more than I already explained. It's great. I can't say much more about it. Like I said, I guess the only thing bad about it is base 50 speed, but look at the rest of its stats; they're just great. Anyways, on to Braviary. Braviary. Well, what move? It gets Sheer Force and it gets Crush Claw, so that already makes it pretty threatening on its own. Not to mention how it also gets base 123 attack, and it gets the Brave Bird. So if you want to run like Scarf Brave Bird with base 123 attack, you're gonna hit like a truck automatically. Not to mention how this thing gets Defiant. So if somebody sends in like an Arcanine against me, I'm gonna get that +1 attack boost. I'm gonna like blow it back with like Brave Bird or something. And then look at its base HP stat of 100, and then look at its special defense stat. Its defense stat 75 of 100 HP. That automatically makes it extremely. It gives it the opportunity to be versatile and bulky, which is pretty good with like bulk up, especially defensive with bulk up, a sub. That's definitely a really cool set. I've wanted to try it and I've seen it work, especially like even in counter team I've seen it work. So we'll see. Not to mention it gets 80. It has an 80 base speed stat, same as Mamoswine. So if you do give it a Choice Scarf, it'll be outspeeding a lot of Pokemon. Like it'll be outspeeding base 110s, but I don't know if it'll outspeed base 115s. I actually don't know on the top of my head, but well, base 115 and above, I have no idea. I'd have to check once I actually prep and all that. But Braviary is great. It can run like the bulk up set. It can run defog. You can make it You can make it a versatile Pokemon. You can make it part of your your hazard removal. Is basically what I'm trying to say. It also gets pretty good special attacks, but base 157 special attacks is going to get the job done. Yeah, not often at least. So it gets Home Claw, so that's one form of setup they can run besides bulk up, of course. It also gets Rock Slide, so you can blow back Talonflames. It gets Superpower, so you can blow back Bisharp. It gets Whirlwind, Toxic, U-Turn, so you can make it a pivot with a Choice Scarf, like I mentioned. So that makes it pretty great. And and the American Bird is Defiant. So and that base 123 attack stat is great because look at this. If I give it max attack with an Adamant Nature, already gives it 345 base attack. So there you go. And then if you intimidate me, I get my +1 boost, and I think that +1 my attack would go up to let me check. 345 divided by 2 is like 172.5. So I'd probably go up to over. I go up to 5. But I go up to like 600 attack, and that's no what shoot, man. I don't even know. I'm trying to do the math on the top of my head. I think I would actually no. I'd only go up to like 5. Yeah, I'd go up to like 500, and that's a pretty high attack stat. I could also give it a Choice Band if I really want to nuke some walls, make it the ultimate wall breaker right there. Because I ran Choice Banded Braviary for somebody who drafted like a stall team, and it absolutely blew his Pokemon back, especially an Arcanine that he had in his team. So yeah, that's Braviary. I love Braviary to death. Now here's my Mega, and this is a pretty heat Mega pick for one reason only, and that's because it's almost never drafted. But Mega Camerupt is great. Base 120 attack and base 145 special attack with Sheer Force. And if you can check the speed, but if you run max speed timid, you go up to base 152. So after a Rock Polish, you actually do reach 304 speed, which is actually outspeeding neutral speed max speed base 100s, which is pretty cool to note. But if it's a speed boost in nature, max speed base 100, it outspeeds me. But something to note for people who think a Rock Polish Camerupt or coincidentally max speed Camerupt is a bad idea. But this thing is great. It gets Ancient Power, which is actually kind of useless because its other moves are going to be great. The only reason why I run Ancient Power is for like Talonflame or something. It also gets Earth Power, it gets Earthquake if you run physical, but Earth Power is just better most of the time. It gets Explosion, so if I want to get out of there, I can run Explosion. It gets Fire Blast, it gets Flame Charge, but Rock Polish is probably better. It gets Heat Wave, which is stronger than Flamethrower, but weaker than Fire Blast, so you can pick your poison at that point. It gets Flash Cannon, so you can hit Steel type Strider hard, but it also gets Iron Head, so if somebody has like a Florges, I can blow them back with Iron Head, because if I run like enough attack, I could probably 2KO any form of physically defensive Florges, but I actually don't know if anybody has Florges. So. Like I said, it also gets Rock Polish, and it also gets Rest Sleep Talk, so I can make this thing pretty bulky with just Rest Sleep Talk, Fire Blast, and Earth Power, and be pretty good to go after that. Not to mention how it gets Will-O-Wisp, so you can just you can make make a physical Pokemon useless if they don't expect it, because you can't burn with any fire type moves because of Sheer Force. So if I want to burn something, I just run Will-O-Wisp. But like, look, if I run like max special attack, Modest Nature, I go up to 427 special attack. Not to mention how I get sheer force, and then I have fire blast plus stab plus sheer force plus 145 special attack. It's absolutely detrimental. That's the only way to put it. That three-syllable word is the only way to describe camera up when it goes for fire blast and you don't resist it. Unless, yeah, really. Like, I don't know any Pokemon that doesn't resist Fire Blast that will not get to it KO'd. I just can't think about it. Every single other Pokemon that does resist it, like Gudra, will definitely be able to eat him. Or something like, I think Gudra would not to get to a KO by any means, and I can't think about what else would. Probably Suicune. Yeah, Suicune would not get to a KO by a Fire Blast. Maybe Earth Power, but not Fire Blast. And so yeah, Camerupt is great. I'm happy to get it, and I don't really have a lot of Pokemon to support this thing, but you'll see my last two picks actually kind of help it. My next Pokemon is going to be Skuntank. I wanted Skuntank because I wanted a Poison and a Dark type. Why not get both? So, Skuntank, what can I say? Gets Acid Spray so I can, whittle down a wall. I ran Acid Spray, Skuntank, and use so I can, screw with a Mega Audino, and it does work. It only has base 71 special attack, but after an Acid Spray, you hit pretty hard. But with a base 93 attack stat, having moves such as Pursue, you can run Crunch, you can run Poison Jab if only you got a Dunk Shot, Rip. And it also doesn't get really much any form of setup. Does it get Work Up? Yeah, it doesn't even get Work Up, and I don't think it gets Home Claws. It doesn't get Home Claws, so it does have some sort of, setup, but it's not great. It's not great. It gets Haze, so if you want to, get rid of a Pokemon's stats, you can go for Haze and blow him back. And this thing gets Taunt, so you can taunt a wall. So that's actually really cool to know, because Taunt is one of my favorite moves in counter team format, because you don't expect it a lot. Like your opponent doesn't expect Taunt a lot, and sometimes you'll be able to catch him off guard rather easily. Anyways, this Pokemon also gets Shadow Claw, gets Shadow Ball, gets Poison, it gets Play Rough, which is interesting to know. It gets Night Slash, so if you want to run Night Slash instead of Crunch because of the high crit ratio, that's your decision. I don't know if I'd ever do that. I'm getting pretty thirsty and I don't have water. Rip. Anyways, this thing also, what else can I get? Because I actually don't know if there's any other move I can. Iron Tail. Get Iron Tail. That's pretty interesting to know, because if I'm up against like a Mega Diancie, actually I would probably outspeed a normal Diancie, and if the Diancie stays in, I click Iron Tail, I would probably blow it back. So yeah, that's cool to know. That's definitely that's really cool to know, actually. That's actually pretty fun. Yeah, it gets Iron Tail. You can run Payback. It also gets Punishment, so if you want to punish a Pokemon set it up against you, that'd be pretty awesome. It gets Venoshock, so you can boost your power if you like Toxic somebody with Toxic. And I'll never miss Toxic with Skuntank because you have 100% accuracy with Poison moves with a Poison type, I think. Yeah, you can't miss Toxic if you're a Poison type. That's a fun fact. Fun fact. Anyways, that's Skuntank for you. Amazing HP stat, but its defense stats are let's face it. But with base 103 HP, you can eat some hits better, but I've used this thing before. It doesn't eat hits the best. Even with max HP, max defense, with I wouldn't run a Bull Nature, I'd probably run something else, but say it's like a Bull Nature, 256 and 410, it makes you somewhat decent, but you're not going to eat the best. You're not going to eat hits the best in the world. But it's definitely a great Pokemon. I love Skuntank. It's such a cool Pokemon. It deserves a better attack stat. Like if it got a base 100 attack stat, that'd be great, as well as better defense stats. This thing really needs a boost in Gen 7. That'd be great. Nintendo, if you're watching this, please support my boy Skuntank and give us some HP boost, or no, not HP boost, defense boost. Anyways, my second to last pick is Mesprit, and Mesprit is pretty cool because it gets this magical move called Trick Room. Trick Room is great because I have a Mega Camerupt, and yeah, so I can go for for example, let's say I go for Trick Room, and then I go for the U-turn into my Camerupt. I can possibly get a slow U-turn off if I'm faster than the Pokemon against me in the Trick Room, because he would outslow me, and then I would just get a free switch into this monster known as Mega Camerupt, and I start blowing people back. So that's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting thing to note. Man, I'm trying to find my words here. Now, if you look at this thing's moveset, it's absolutely crazy. It gets Dazzle Gleam, it gets Calm Mind, it gets Blizzard. It doesn't get Ice. No, it doesn't get Ice Beam. Ice Beam and Ice Punch. so you can just blow back, rock, dragon types or ground types. It also gets Grass Knot, it gets Healing Wish. So if I want to support my camera up even more, because no form of recovery is except for rest, that makes it pretty awesome. Gets Magic Coat, so I can blow somebody back if they go for like stealth rock or something. I get dual screens, I think. I get light screen at least. Do I get reflect? I'm not sure if I do. I do get reflect and light screen, so that's also another thing to note. Gets Fire Punch. I don't think it gets Fire Blast. Does it get Fire Blast? No, it doesn't get Fire Blast, but it does get Fire Punch. But it does get Ice Beam and Ice Punch. It also gets Single Beam, Shadow Ball, Stealth Rock. It gets Thunder, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave. And it also gets U-turns and Headbutt. It can also run other coverage moves that are normally useless, not useless, but according to this it is. You can run like Charge Beam if you want. You can run Thunder Wave Headbutt if you want to be a loser. You can run Iron Tail, so there you go. Another thing to blow back Diancie. It can also run Natural Gift, which is actually pretty cool because this thing has base 1 to 5 attack, so Natural Gift isn't a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. I like it. And this thing gets so much coverage, it would probably be useless, really. Unless I want to, it would probably be useless. But yeah, look at this thing's base stats. It's 80, 80, and then 105 and everything else. So that's pretty good because you can run special defensive, physically defensive, max attack, max special attack, and you can even run some speed investment with the base 80. Again, same base speed as my Braviary and my Mamoswine. So the base 80s, they're not the best, but they're not bad either. So that's Mesprit. It can be a pivot. It could be Stealth Rock. A Stealth Rock lead. It could be defensive. It could be physical. It could be a Choice Scarf. Choice Scarf especially offensive. It can run Trick Room. It can do so many things that is just absolutely crazy. I love it. Now my last pick is this rock known as a beast. I'm just kidding. No, it's a Carbink. Carbink is very, very underwhelming because it has 2 base 150 stats and the rest is 50. So you could think, oh man, that they could think that Carbink is a pretty shitty Pokemon. Let's be honest, but Carbink is great because it gets Trick Room and it gets Explosion. So I don't even have to risk U-turn. I can go for Explosion, go straight into my camera, and I can start winning. This thing sadly doesn't get Healing Wish, but Trick Room Explosion is rather okay. This thing also gets Calm Mind, so if I want to run Calm Mind, that'd be pretty cool. But that wouldn't be the best since its HP stat isn't great. But the thing also gets Magic Coat, gets Stab Moonblast, so even with base 50 stats, Moonblast will hit reasonably hard on something that doesn't resist Moonblast, or even if you're super effective to it. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my voice. I don't have any water. Rip. Okay. This thing also gets Stealth Rock, gets Toxic, so you can just, whittle something down. And besides that, it doesn't really get much of anything that could make it really useful. So, Carbink. It's not really a one-trick pony, but if I do bring it, it pretty much will only be for Stealth Rock, Trick Room, or that's pretty much it. Unless I bring Calm Mind, like I said. Those are the only 3 reasons why I would ever bring Carbink. But yeah, overall, that's my team. I'm happy with this team. It's one of the best teams I've drafted, in my opinion. Even though it isn't the fastest team in the world, it's okay because my Dragon Steel Fairy Core, my Fire Water Grass Core is reasonably decent. My Fire Water Grass Core consists of Mega Camerupt, Amogus, and Manaphy. So I have this support with Manaphy being able to do anything and Mega Camerupt being a nuke. And then I have my Dragon Steel Fairy Core with my Garchomp, Sylveon, and Cobalion. Cobalion and Garchomp serve reasonably well together, as well as Sylveon. Only thing bad about them is that none of them resist ground. But besides that, I have other ground resists, such as I have an immunity with Electros, Braviary, and Mesprit. But so besides something like Excadrill with Mold Breaker, I'll be okay. Anyways. I have plenty of Stealth Rock users with Cobalion, Diancie, Garchomp, Camerupt, and even... Did I say Mesprit? I'm not sure if I said Mesprit. But, I have 4 Pokemon that can use Stealth Rock, so that's great. Absolutely great. I have 2 Pokemon that can use Volt Switch. I have 2 Pokemon that can use U-turn. 3 Pokemon, actually. Manaphy, Electros, and Braviary. I have the Fog user with Strong Tank and Braviary. So that's great. I don't have any Rapid Spins. I don't have Rapid Spins, so that's kind of bad. But, besides that, my draft is really, really cool. Like, it is kind of slow. My fastest Pokemon being base 108, 102, and 100. So that's, okay at best. But it's not bad. Not bad at all. I have wish support, I have a cleric, and I have pivots, and I have bulk. And that's how I like to play. And if it's bad, oh well. I love this kind of play style. I adore it, and I enjoy it. So yeah, that's my draft. That was about 30 minutes of me rambling about my draft. I hope you guys, actually watched all of it. If you didn't watch all of it, that's okay. I wouldn't either. So yeah, if you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment about my team. If there's any problem with it, I would like to hear it. Like I would like to discuss it. Maybe you can help me out because free agents are a thing. So anyways, that's my team. I will be uploading my week one battle pretty soon because it already happened. So yeah, I'll probably upload that. And I'll probably upload my team builder tomorrow, and then so that'll be on Tuesday, and then I'll probably upload my battle on Wednesday. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So yeah, we're about to hit the 31-minute mark. So yeah, that's about it for now. And I'll see you guys later. Au revoir and peace.